Our Texas badass of the week is none other than Buster Welch.
Buster Welch!
Faye Owen Buster Welch was born May 23rd, 1928.
Very old when he died.
Died June 12th, 2022, recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
He was an American cutting horse trainer and inductee into the NCHA Members Hall of Fame, American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame, National Cutting Horse Association Riders Hall of Fame, and Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame.
Freaking legend.
Buster was chosen as the recipient of the 2012 National Golden Spur Award for his outstanding contributions to the ranching and livestock industry. So Faye Owen Welch was born in Sterling City, Texas.
No, he was born in Sterling City?
He was born in Sterling City.
Right. Well, he's not related to us, but he's related to Dad.
By marriage.
By marriage.
Because we've met Amy, who is his granddaughter.
Granddaughter or something. Something like that.
So our dad rides cut horses. And one of the interesting things he found out in this endeavor is that he is related to by someone
marrying somebody.
He's like a third cousin essentially, or something like that.
A Buster Welch.
A Buster Welch. One of the greatest, most
probably considered the greatest.
Yeah. Cut horse trainer breeding
ever.
Program of all time. Yeah. So this is just some some accomplishments that Buster Welch made, apart from being just an incredibly interesting, storied man.
Yeah.
He won the NCHA World Championship 4 times and the NCHA World Championship Futurity 5 times.
That's really hard to do.
It's really hard to do. He also was in his 90s when he died. So he had time, but it's also very, very,
very hard to do.
Most people don't do it once in their lifetime, much less a total of 9 times across different events. Yeah. The most notable horses he trained include Marion's Girl, Chickashaw Mike, Money's Glow, who he trained in 1962, won the first NCHA World Championship for Futurity.
Nice.
In 1963, he won it on Chickasaw Glow. In 1966, on Ray J's Pete. In 1971, on Dry Dock. And in 1977, on Pepe's San Badger. Side note, horse names are crazy.
Horse names are awesome.
Horse names are like, hey, let's name this White Plant Orange Light Gunnarsson.
And then they'd be like, okay, put it on the birth certificate. They're
like,
the best.
Are you naming an animal or are you just
Well, I think people think that like the cool names only apply to race horses.
Yeah,
but
they
it's
don't.
like
It's every single horse has like 5
has a
names.
fascinating name.
It's crazy. And there is a reason for
it.
Which I also find, slightly interesting.
Well, now you have to tell us.
Because they name these horses specifically to track lineages.
Yeah.
So that like, just like an example, Pepe San Badger, right? If that's the horse's full name, its sire might have been like Pepe Lion or something. They're
making sure you can associate each horse
Magistrate,
with
Badger, Cardinal, or whatever. Crazy names. And then they'll call the horse, Gray or whatever. They'll be like, oh, that's old Gray.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy like that. Anyway, so Buster was born in the 20s, which is insane.
Yep.
That's like, he was born at the tail end of the 20s, so leading into
the Depression.
Some pretty crazy...
Dust Bowl, Depression, World War
Buster
II.
probably remembers setting a table upside down so that when it was time to eat, you could turn it right side up and not have dust
on it.
Which is crazy.
He also probably remembers not setting a table because there was no food.
I'm sure he
probably
does.
I mean, honestly.
By 13, he left home permanently.
Nice.
To land a job breaking horses.
Nice.
He worked super large, really large herds of cattle, got really good at it. He did chores for cattlemen Foy and Leonard Proctor in Midland, Texas. There's a little Midland connection.
432, shouts out.
After leaving Proctor's, Buster worked for many ranches. 666 Ranch, or 46's Ranch.
Not 666 Ranch. That's in.
This is why I can't do medication and read.
Yeah.
The 46's
Stop taking
Ranch,
your meds before we record.
I'll stop. Pitchfork Ranch, King Ranch, Long X, and a few others where he developed the skills to work as well as breeding programs.
Nice.
He is storied for his breeding program at the King Ranch.
Yep.
And not enough.
That's kind of what shot him to legendary status.
It's so legendary that a person I met in California who rode horses in her youth in rodeo knew who Buster Welch was.
Freaking crazy.
That's insane. You know?
Well, and he lands in Yellowstone, has a little scene when Jimmy is dropped off at the 4.6s by the character played by Taylor Sheridan. And he's sitting by the old guys and they're talking. And he walks away, and that 4.6's cowboy is like, there's 2 things to fear in Texas: God and Buster Welch. And you just met one of them.
Met one of them.
Freaking crazy.
Such a great line. And what happened is whenever they had him on set, he's 94.
Yeah. Like in a legitimate
legitimate-
power chair because he's so old he can't walk.
He wanted to, apparently, Amy was saying he wanted to do a good job and all that, but he was like, I don't know what to say. And Taylor just said, just start telling stories.
Yeah, and he was legitimately just telling
stories.
So
they got to choose which story they wanted to use.
Yeah.
Buster Welch, man, Texas legend, cowboy, started his own herd, his own ranch, the B Lazy W brand to supply demand for naturally fed cows.
Yep.
One of the first cowboys to do it.
Yep.
Just a son of a gun.
Just
Just a cool guy.
in the best way possible.
In the best way. So Buster Welch, we salute you.
We salute you.